and then goes into the independent world. Now, don't get me wrong, the independent world, and the independent world is going to be your mom and pop shops. They're going to be like businesses, like in my opinion, that are like ours, that have I'm going to say 6 to 10 bays typically, and they're going to be the type of shop and the type of guys who are content with just one location. They're only looking to be at one location. They're not really looking at growth. They're not really looking as a business here. They tend to be guys in the businesses that are technician ran, but they are doing great. They can do all makes, all models. They tend to do diagnosis here, that certain things, certain repairs they may not want to do because of certain capabilities, certain knowledges. And that's going to be like, I'm going to say 80% of the independent shops that are out there. They're the second to the top tier that you can be at here. Top 5, or they're in that tier 5 here. They're really good. They're going to have guys who are ASE certified. They may have guys that are going to be trained from dealerships. They're going to be guys who are been trained strictly in the independent world. They probably have touched all 4 of these levels throughout their process here. We're talking about some kick-ass shops and kick-ass crews there. Now, this is at no offense to that group here, but obviously some places are not driven based off their business. Sometimes they're based on, hey, I'm going to be centralized to what I'm doing. I'm comfortable with what I'm doing, and they're going to have guys who fill in all 4 of those categories. Now, independent world, right? We're talking about the mom and pop shops here. We're talking about the guys who are content with where they're at here, which is fine, right? There's always a place for them here. Kind of get divided into their own categories, right? So you got, I'm going to call it tier 5B and tier 5A. Tier 5B is that you're going to have like 1 or 2 guys who are going to be considered master level, certified, and the rest of the guys are under 5 years of experience. That's going to make up like 50 to 60% of independent shops that are out there. And then you're talking about the 40% of the guys who are probably, rocking 3-4 guys here, have certifications and go above and beyond. And then there's the last tier, and I'm going to call that tier 6. And this is the type of shops that tend to have growth. They tend to be the guys who are constantly growing and constantly busy. I like to view that our shop is in this aspect here, because they're going to have numerous technicians. They're going to have a pretty big staff. We're talking about, typically these are businesses with 10 plus bays. Maybe they have a couple different locations here, but these are guys who are that prime best of both worlds. Is that they're going to have master certified people on most makes and models. They're going to have the entire staff that is very comfortable with makes and models. They're going to have guys who are entry level and learning how to do this business the correct way. They're going to have guys who are good parts hangers. They're going to have a big bulk of guys that are very good at what they do and have certifications. So at our shop, for example, we have 22 lifts here.